A fishing rank 8. Oh my god. He's shooting just down the middle. He's cheating. We're gonna call his ass. Hell. Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Settlers League 3.25. In this episode, I'm going to be going over my build updates. You saw me doing all 1600, so Giga Delve. So I want to start it off with, I cut Immortal Call, cast no damage taken, the phase run setup, a bunch of stuff. Some of the jewels. Okay, so let's start it off with what I actually put in the spaces. So let's start with, I cut 2 of the 2% max fire res jewels, and I started running these forbidden fleshes. Basically, it allocates Elemancer, so you need a forbidden flesh and flame for Elemancer, and then Elemancer gives us an extra golem. And then with the extra golem, I started using this dude. So this is a Stone Golem of Safeguarding, so there's actually a third buff. Well, there's technically a fourth if you use Carry-On Golem, but I have 3 Golem buffs instead of only 2. So I still get the life regen and the physical damage reduction, but then I also have this extra one. So Stone Golem, melee damage from hits is taken from your Stone Golem's life before you, and this Stone Golem is the Stone Golem of Safeguarding. So 15% of melee damage is taken from the Stone Golem's life before you, and then it scales up to 48% with all the Golem buff effect. Actually insane. So yeah, I figured out that you could have 2 different Stone Golems and have both effects, and then I was like, well, I have so much Golem buff effect, plus with Elemancer, it's 25 per Golem, and I actually have 5 Golems, so this is 125. It's more than Liege of the Primordial, the other Elementalist node. Also, it makes them immune to elemental damage. And then, like I say, I got the extra golem, and I got the extra buff effect, and then, yeah, 48%. And then, what is this actually doing? So, one of the main reasons is I did delve, and there was this primordial beast, and he was hitting me so fucking hard with just his melee attack, and I was like, what? So then I thought, what can make me survive it? And I thought, well, originally I was trying Grace, but once he hit me, I died. So Grace didn't save me. I was getting 1 hit. So taking half of the hit against the Stone Golem instead made me able to tank it. And then I realized how many more things were melee and how huge this really is. This Stone Golem's insane. Like, it's the reason I can tank the all. It helps tank Rogue Exiles. It helps tank a lot of stuff. There are a lot of melee attacks that this helps tank. So yeah, the new Stone Golem of Safeguarding is actually insane, and you could technically get this higher with more Golem buff effect, but this is just what I have for now. And then I added Arrogance support to Vitality so that it reserves against my life instead of my mana, because doing 200 mana reservation of only 700 mana is a lot, because I have the negative 153 mana ring still, because I haven't hit the mist with the lock on this ring yet, which I still might have negative mana after, but anyways, Arrogance on the Vitality to make it reserve your life. It's like 580, but then we get the Giga Regen. So 1250 from 770, so you're giving up 580 health for like 500 regen. It's really insane. So I still run Vitality, but now it doesn't reserve mana, so then I was able to use more auras. So originally I was running Grace, like I mentioned, and then I figured out that instead of using Grace, I use the Stone Golem of Safeguarding, and I like this a lot. So I cut Grace, which I was able to fit the Grace because I arrogance the Vitality and I wasn't reserving Vitality on my mana anymore. So I cut Grace for Purity of Fire because I cut those two max Fire Res jewels. I was missing some max Fire Res, so then I could get back some max Fire Res with this, and then I was able to take out another jewel and I swapped it for Taunt. Minion Taunt is pretty nice. And so I still actually have 1% too much max fire res. So as an example, if I take this out, I'm at 89. So this is actually 91 with this jewel. And it's because the for Purity of Fire gives 7, and the Purity of Fire won't have reduced aura effect in the delve, which is pretty nice. And then with the extra space, because I told you I cut the phase run setup and the immortal call, I ran this setup. So this is the Carrion Golem of Hordes on MAME, and then I added block chance reduction support because enemies get block. And then the way this one works is imagine that when they block the Carrion Golem, he overpowers their block, applying this -5 block attack and spell block. And the overpower lasts for 4 seconds. So if you could stack up overpowered by getting the Carrion Golem's attack to be blocked, because the Carrion Golem hits so fast, then you remove the block for your zombies and stuff. And you don't want to level it, and you don't want quality because you want the Carrion Golem blocked. Then I got this Chaos Golem linked with this, and then the Spectre Links. So the Stone Golem of Safeguarding actually has 50% less max life. And so then I linked it with Feeding Frenzy support, and we have the Spectre, and Minion Life was the last. I added Minion Life to keep the Spectres alive and to keep this Stone Golem alive. Huge. And then the Spectre, the 4th Spectre, I actually replaced the Perfect Warlord with the Demon Harpy because I wanted extra damage. And I didn't need to rely on the endurance charges on the minions. So the Demon Harpy gets that extra Screech, which can increase the physical damage taken by the enemy, which is nice. And synergizes really well with our physical build. And so yeah, I wanted to swap out the Warlord because I needed the extra damage for this delve, since 1600 delve is pretty tanky. You saw that all. We're at 1686. Yeah, that minion life is really nice. So like the Stone Golem of Safeguarding has 95,000 and this one has 120, and so it still actually has less because the less is before the more. And so now the base is actually a lower number that gets increased back by the 50%. So to actually get back to where it was, I'm pretty sure it's like 75% more you needed or something. It can't just be 50 because it's 50 less, then the base is less now, and then you multiply it back with more, but then it doesn't get back to the same amount because you took out so much with the less. Oh, and then you may have seen this, so you also may wonder what the hell is that? So just like the Mageblood, how we have a skin for it, which was from the Battle Pass before, we also have Bottled Faith. So this is Apostate, and it reminds you of that body armor. But yeah, your Bottled Faith consecrated ground becomes imbued with a heretic's influence. And then, yeah, this is Bottled Faith, and I added it instead of the progenesis because you get extra damage, you can get the curse reduction, the extra regen, the extra crit. So again, extra damage, just like the Spectre change because of delving. And then it also helps the extra minion survivability technically with the regen too, but it was mostly the extra damage since my progenesis wasn't always up and I was surviving without it. I figured out that I didn't need it. I also finally got my Chaos Res up because I swapped the Watcher's Eye. So instead of having the Watcher's Eye with haste with cooldown recovery rate of travel skills, I got Chaos Res with Purity of Elements, and then now I have the Chaos Res and still have the Phys damage reduction. I could also divine this. And then I also changed the boot implicit. Instead of having the cooldown recovery of travel skills, I now have the life regen rate. So this is really good. That's where you were seeing 1250, and then when we get into combat with the Bottled Faith and we get hit with the chest plate, we're going over 2000 2000 regen, because you regen 10% of life over 1 second when hit while sane. It's insane. And this Watcher's Eye, I spent 16D to get the Determination and the Purity of Elements together, and this is also a 3 mod, which is disgusting, so technically, because I'm also Purity of Fire, I'm immune to Ignite, but I was already immune to Ignite because I'm Purity of Elements. Which then really makes you think, like, damn, if you didn't run Purity, I'm already immune to Ignite, and then, what, just Shock and Freeze? Easy, dude, but, yeah, and then the Delve 1680, and I showed that all, and then I have a few more clips I'm gonna add to the vid as well, but huge build update, huge changes, mostly the links. Delving is sick. Really like this season a lot. Been having a lot of fun. But yeah, the main cuts were the phase run setup. So phase run, more duration, automation, the custom damage taken, immortal call, the Watcher's Eye, the 2 max fire res jewels, the extra 2 max fire res, and then progenesis. I did it like this to keep track of it to show you after. And then for delving, flame dash, you technically don't need it, and so I've had 2 swaps that are honorable mentions. So first one, Frostbomb. This can reduce the enemy's life regen rate by 75%. So this, if the enemy has life regen and is surviving, regenning too much, you can use the Perfect Dark Reaper to reduce it by 50%, and this another 75%. So basically you delete all of the enemy regen, and if they aren't regenning, but you need to, like, let's say you need to single down target one enemy, I use Convocation to stack them all up on one enemy, teleport them all to the location, and boom, started running Convocation. Really, really helpful in a couple nodes, like, the Humid Fisher and the Smuggler's Stash for the Rogue Exiles. Huge. Well, either. Oh yeah, another huge part. I'm glad I was doing this fit in parts anyways. Okay, the Animate Guardian. So I'll show his new weapons and the new helmet. But the chest plate, garb of the ephemeral. Let me explain. So the garb of the ephemeral, used to use it a long time ago, brought it back. Need to explain why, so everyone knows. But basically, let's start it off with first the synthesis implicit. So I got a mod that was reduced damage taken if corrupted, and then I corrupted both of them, and the one that's on him has it. So basically, he's taking reduced damage because this was corrupted. That is so sick. What a sick mod. Okay, so besides that, because that's not why I did this chest, that was just a bonus. I did that because I had an extra synth implicit. Might as well get something good. Okay, so basically, I did Maven, Uber Maven, Cortex, Elder, Shaper, like everything. Literally everything. Nearby allies' action speed cannot be modified to below base value. Why is this good? They have all these fucking circles and dots that, lower the action speed by like 50%. So then you realize, like, it's fucking everywhere. It's not just these bosses, but basically deleting half of your minions action speed is huge, really bad. And so keeping them at 0, like normal, and not getting slowed action speed is gigantic. It's huge. And then it's basically a damage multiplier. You just deal extra damage because they actually don't have the slow action speed, so then they attack normally and attack fast, and yeah, it's actually just faster, which then it's not just attack speed, it's also move speed, and so them being immune to that is insane. And then they're technically also immune to chill and freeze as well, and petrify. You realize, like, those stupid petrify chimeral things in T17s. You realize the petrification statue in Delve. You have those petrification statues in T17. There's so many action speed modifier thing, like things that modify it, and then having this is huge. And then technically also the nearby enemies cannot deal crits, and when he hits, he's gaining divinity charges, and you when you get 10, you gain divinity for 10 seconds on reaching max divine charges. And the divinity was, well, it doesn't say it here. It's like less elite damage taken or something, like the character size, and he's glowing and all this shit. But he won't have permanent divinity anyways, because you can't gain divinity while you have divinity or something, so it's not permanent, so don't worry about that. It's mostly about the nearby allies. Action speed cannot be modified to below base value. Super sick. Amazing chest. And then yeah, it's been a game changer, because like I say, there's so many more things that it's helping for. And then you can brick your Maven arena and it doesn't matter, because those slows won't cause the action speed slow, so you could just fill the whole arena with it if you can tank it. It's really sick. And then I have some more AG clips. It wasn't, oh my god. Okay, 2 synth implicit explode, and then essence of horror, Essence of Zeal, crafted, I got res, and then I crafted double damage. Prefixes don't matter. And I did the AoE enchant, and then weird quality. And nearby enemies have Malediction. This is a glimpse of chaos. Turned into Malachai's Simula with lightning res and blood magic. Dude, this guy's gonna steal my shit. Get out of here, bro. This is my new helmet for the AG. Basically, he's Fizz, so we got the nearby enemies take increased Fizz, and then the AoE, and then the extra fire res. Yeah, he's Fizz. Fizz glove, vulnerability, curse glove, and that. And a special thank you to my Patreon and YouTube members who financially support the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Rico549, Joe No Mercy, David, Hannes, Cynic, and then my YouTube members, Salad, Austin, and Alex. Thank you guys so much for the support. Bye!